Hey fight fans, today in this video, Tony Ferguson breaks his silence and reveals when his career trouble started. If you recall, El Cucuy has suffered 5 defeats in a row. Also, Daniel Cormier criticizes El Cucuy for wanting to move on after a 5th straight loss. But Tony did not like what Daniel had to say, so he fired back. Also, the poster of Tony Ferguson versus Conor McGregor, now that sounds like the main event fight of the year, even though neither fighter are in the top 20. But everyone will want to watch this fight. Why, you may ask? Well, we will try to answer that one as well. So if you liked the video, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. So let's start with the fact that, as you all already know, on September 10th in Las Vegas, UFC 279 took place, where Nate Diaz defeated Tony Ferguson via choke. Afterwards, the Stockton gangster announced his departure from the UFC. The same kind of speech, but regarding retirement, was expected from Tony, but that speech did not happen. He is eager to fight and does not plan to retire just yet. Now, even though Tony has lost 5 in a row, he is still a fan favorite fighter. So who would you like to see him go up against next? For example, a lot of fans have been saying that the best fight for Ferguson is against Conor McGregor. Everyone knows that all fighters are dreaming of a fight with Notorious for the massive payday, but it is the fight with Ferguson that does make the most sense. I am sure that everyone would benefit from the fight: Conor, Tony, the UFC, and most of all, us, the fans. Let's be honest here, for McGregor, fighting Ferguson is a great way to possibly return triumphantly, as he did in January of 2020 against Cowboy Donald Cerrone. He could very well defeat El Cucuy and make the fans once again believe that he is ready to compete with the best fighters on the planet. It's also highly unlikely that Conor will refuse to fight Ferguson just because of his losing streak. If you remember, Cowboy also had lost 2 fights in a row before fighting McGregor. Now, we already know that Tony will not mind going toe-to-toe with Notorious, because there is simply no reason to refuse. Tony already said that he does not want to retire, so either he is waiting for a truly generous offer, or he simply still has a strong competitive drive. The fight with McGregor would also bring him the biggest paycheck of his career. There is no doubt that Dana White would be happy to arrange such a fight, because this fight could do really well for pay-per-view buys and possibly return Conor to greatness, while giving Ferguson a beautiful send-off. Unless, of course, El Cucuy still remains active after losing a potential 6th fight in a row. Now, I don't think there are too many fans who will categorically say that they would not want to see this fight. And if there is someone, it's perhaps out of sympathy for Ferguson. But the poster, Tony Ferguson versus Conor McGregor, does sound like the main event fight of the year. Everyone would be watching. Tony is a household name, but like every fighter will do eventually, he has aged. I think Dana is unlikely to fire him, as he usually treats his legends well. He will always give them a chance. And I think maybe Tony still has maybe 1 or 2 fights left in him. But Tony has even come out and said that after Gaethje beat him, his team fled. He took some time off from the media and interviews and started welcoming new coaches and listening to them more. He has recently trained in Albuquerque with the Winklejohn camp, and he feels he will only improve. But many disagree with Ferguson, like Daniel Cormier, who criticized El Cucuy for intending to continue his career after 5 straight losses. Cormier said he is a shell of himself and he doesn't want to retire, right? He actually said he feels like he got better. He saw some good things. I'm like, what did he do in there to show that he's better than he was prior? Cormier would go on to say it wasn't a gradual decline. It was like he got on the edge of the cliff and just fell off. It was Justin Gaethje and that was it. The moment he was done with that interim title fight, he wasn't as good.
Tony Ferguson is done as a guy that I've seen in the octagon. Tony's done, bro. Like, he is a shell of himself, and he doesn't want to retire, right? He actually said he feels like he got better. He saw some good things. I'm like, what did he do in there to show that he's better than he was prior?
Now, obviously, Tony Ferguson didn't like what Cormier had to say and fired back on Instagram saying, Cormier should put the sweets down. Too much sugar will go to your head like old fathead Khabib. Once a hater, always a vagina. Champ. CSO, motherfuckers. So what will happen with Tony Ferguson? Do you think he should continue to perform, or should he hang up his gloves? If he does have one more fight in him, then would you watch a farewell fight with Conor or not? And what do you think about all of this? Let us know in the comments. That is all for today, so if you did like the video, come on, you know what to do. Thanks for watching.